Let me tell you a secret about walking that almost nobody talks about. You've been told walking is just light exercise, right? But what if I told you that the way you walk, not how far, not how long, but how you time it and pace it, can unlock fat burning in a way that feels effortless, natural, and even enjoyable? Imagine turning something you already do every day into a metabolic switch for fat loss. That's what I'm about to reveal. Most people believe that fat loss is only possible when you're sweating out of breath and pushing yourself through intense workouts. We've been told again and again that the harder the exercise, the more calories you burn and the faster the weight will come off. It sounds convincing, but here's the surprising truth. Your body doesn't always respond to intensity the way you think it does. In fact, there's another way, a gentler way that signals your body to unlock fat burning more efficiently than hours of high intensity exercise. That way is walking. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Walking sounds too simple, too easy, right? We often underestimate it because it doesn't look like we're working hard. But here's what's really happening. When you push your body into high intensity workouts, you also push up cortisol, your stress hormone. That hormone has a very sneaky role in fat storage. Too much cortisol keeps your body holding on to fat, especially around your belly, no matter how many calories you burn. It's like sending your body mixed messages. You're asking it to burn fat, but the stress response is asking it to hold on. Walking, on the other hand, does the opposite. It lowers cortisol, calms your nervous system, and signals to your metabolism that it's safe to release stored fat. Think of walking as a whisper to your body instead of a scream. When you whisper, the body listens calmly, clearly, without defense. When you scream at it with intense exercise, sometimes the body feels under attack and shuts down the very fat burning you want to happen. Slow, steady walking, especially at a pace where you can still hold a conversation, keeps you in a fat burning zone without triggering stress responses. This is why people who start walking consistently often notice their body changing in ways they didn't expect. More energy, less belly bloat, and yes, gradual fat loss. Science makes this even more fascinating. When you walk at a steady pace, you don't spike your insulin the way you might after a high-intensity session. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. When it's high, fat stays locked away, no matter how much effort you're putting in. Walking gently lowers insulin, allowing your body to dip into stored fat for fuel. It's almost like giving your body permission to use the energy it's been holding on to all this time. Combine that with lower cortisol, and you've created the perfect environment for fat loss to happen naturally now. Here's where most people miss the point. It's not just about the act of walking itself, but about when and how you do it. The timing of your walks can completely change the impact they have on your metabolism. Picture this, you've just finished a meal, and instead of sitting down, you step outside for a light 15 or 20-minute walk. What happens? Your muscles start pulling sugar from your bloodstream, lowering your blood glucose, and preventing those big insulin spikes that keep fat locked away. Over time, this single shift builds a stronger, more efficient metabolism. So the myth we've been told that only the hardest, most painful workouts burn fat is actually keeping many people stuck. Walking, done the right way, can shift you into fat burning mode without exhaustion, without injury, and without stressing your body out. It's simple, it's accessible, and it works with your biology instead of against it. And the best part is, this secret isn't about walking more miles or longer hours. It's about walking smarter. And in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. Here's the simple step-by-step secret walking method that actually moves the needle on fat loss, starting with the tiniest habit that makes the biggest difference. First, timing matters more than most people realize. The sweet spot is right after you eat, not 2 hours later and not before you go to bed when you're exhausted. After a meal, your blood sugar rises and your body releases insulin to shuttle that sugar into cells. If insulin stays high, your body keeps fat locked away. A short, gentle walk 10 to 20 minutes after eating invites your muscles to pull glucose out of the bloodstream for immediate use, which keeps insulin from spiking and stops your body from reflexively storing fat. Next, pace is everything. Aim for brisk but conversational. You want to feel the movement in your legs and a little warmth in your chest, but you should still be able to talk without gasping. Think of it as power walking with kindness. You're waking up your metabolism without putting it on high alert. This pace activates muscle glucose uptake in a calm way, uses energy from the meal so it doesn't become fat, and supports your nervous system to move from fight or flight into a more balanced state. Now, duration, 20 to 30 minutes is the Goldilocks range for most people. Anything under 10 minutes still helps and is better than nothing. And if you're feeling great, you can stretch to 30 minutes and get added benefit. Long, exhausting hikes or hours of forced cardio are not necessary for this method and can actually raise stress hormones if overdone. The beauty here is consistency. Short walks every day after meals create repeated windows where your blood sugar is regulated and insulin gets better at doing its job without hanging on to fat. Here's the physiology in simple terms. Walking after a meal increases muscle demand for fuel. Muscles act like a sink pulling sugar out of your blood. Less sugar in the blood equals lower insulin, and lower insulin means your body's fat vaults are allowed to open more easily between meals. Walking also calms the nervous system, lowering cortisol, which otherwise signals the body to keep fat stored, especially around the belly. When insulin goes down and cortisol calms down, your body has the green light to access stored fat more readily. Picture this: you finish dinner, the dishes are in the sink, and instead of collapsing on the couch, you slip on comfortable shoes and step outside for a light-paced 20-minute walk. You breathe a little deeper, your shoulders drop, and your mind shifts from screens to the rhythm of your steps. Your muscles are quietly using up the sugar circulating in your blood, so less insulin is required. Your digestion feels lighter, and your body experiences a gentle nudge toward burning fat rather than storing it. How to make it practical. Treat these walks like appointments you can't skip. Set a reminder. Pair the walk with a habit you already do, like a post-meal cup of tea you take outside, or invite a partner so it becomes social. If you work at a desk, use a 10-minute walk after lunch instead of scrolling your phone. If mobility is limited, march in place or walk around your living room. The contraction of your muscles is what matters, not the distance you cover. Small cues that help. Keep a pair of walking shoes by the door. Wear comfortable clothing that makes movement easy, and breathe through your nose to keep your nervous system calm. Focus on posture, shoulders relaxed, chest open, and a steady rhythm in your feet. Attention to these tiny details makes the walk more effective and more enjoyable, which is why you'll actually keep doing it finally. Remember that this method is about consistency and smart timing more than intensity. It's not a punishment, it's a gentle, sustainable tool that works with your biology to lower insulin, soothe stress, and open the door to fat burning. Start with one post-meal walk today and notice how it makes your next meal feel lighter. Once you begin to quiet the spikes and dips in your blood sugar, your body will begin shifting towards steady, sustainable fat loss instead of dramatic, stressful attempts that rarely last long. When it comes to fat loss, the real story is less about calories and more about hormones. Hormones are like messengers constantly telling your body whether to burn energy or store it, whether to calm down or stay on alert, whether you're truly hungry or just craving something out of habit. When you understand how walking influences these messengers, it becomes clear why this simple practice is so powerful. Let's start with insulin, the fat storage hormone. Think of insulin as the key holder to your fat stores. When insulin is high, the key is always turning in the lock, keeping your fat tucked away where you can't use it for fuel. Every time you eat, insulin rises to help move sugar into your cells. The problem is that if insulin is constantly elevated, your body never gets the chance to dip into fat storage. Now here's where walking after meals changes the game. Those muscles in your legs are like hungry sponges, soaking up sugar from the bloodstream. The more sugar they absorb, the less insulin has to be released. And when insulin comes down, the fat stores finally start to open up. It's almost like slipping the key back into your pocket and allowing your body to use what's been locked away all along. Then we have cortisol, your stress hormone. Cortisol isn't bad. It wakes you up in the morning, helps you think quickly, and gives you energy in the right doses. But when it's elevated all the time, it sends your body a signal to hold on to fat, especially around the belly. This is why people under chronic stress often notice stubborn weight that won't budge, even if they're eating well or exercising hard. The beauty of walking is that it lowers cortisol naturally. The gentle, rhythmic movement shifts your body into a calmer state, your breathing slows, your nervous system relaxes, and cortisol begins to drop. With lower cortisol, your body stops clinging to fat as though it needs to survive a constant emergency, and then there are leptin and ghrelin, your hunger and fullness hormones. Ghrelin is like a little gremlin telling you, eat now, eat more, while leptin is the one reminding you, you're full, you have enough stored energy. When these two hormones are out of balance, you feel cravings even when you don't need food, or you overeat without feeling satisfied. Walking has a surprising impact here too. By balancing blood sugar and lowering stress, those hunger signals begin to normalize. You'll notice less of that urgent, jittery hunger and more of a calm awareness of when you're truly ready to eat. Leptin works better at signaling fullness, and ghrelin quiets down so you're not constantly reaching for snacks. This is why walking feels so different from forcing yourself through a punishing workout. High-intensity exercise can spike cortisol, drive up appetite, and sometimes leave you hungrier than before. Walking whispers to your hormones instead of shouting at them. It tells insulin to settle down, it tells cortisol to ease off, and it brings leptin and ghrelin back into a steady rhythm. The result isn't just fat burning, it's steadier energy, fewer cravings, and a metabolism that feels balanced rather than chaotic. Imagine your hormones like the members of an orchestra. If insulin is blaring too loudly, cortisol is pounding in the background, and leptin and ghrelin are out of tune, the whole song feels overwhelming. But when you walk consistently, especially after meals, it's like a conductor stepping in to bring everything into harmony. The instruments soften, the rhythm evens out, and suddenly your body plays a calm, Coordinated melody that supports fat loss instead of fighting against it. Once you see how your hormones respond to something as simple as a walk, the old idea that fat loss requires punishment starts to lose its grip. You realize it's not about pushing harder, but about creating the right environment for your body to naturally do what it's designed to do. Every walk becomes a message to your hormones, reminding them to work with you instead of against you, and that is when fat burning starts to feel effortless. The real magic of this walking method is not in knowing it, but in weaving it into your everyday life in ways that feel natural and effortless. You don't need to carve out hours in your schedule or overhaul your entire routine. You just need to find little pockets of time where walking fits seamlessly. Think of it as upgrading something you already do rather than adding another task to your list. Start with the most obvious opportunity. After meals, instead of staying glued to the table or heading straight for the couch, make it automatic to step outside for a 10 to 20-minute walk. Picture yourself finishing lunch at work, feeling that familiar sluggish dip in energy. Most people scroll their phone or grab another coffee, but you take those same minutes and walk around the block. The fresh air clears your head, your muscles start soaking up glucose from your blood, and your metabolism gets a gentle boost. It's such a small shift, but repeated daily, it rewires how your body processes food and how your energy feels in the afternoon. If evenings are busier for you, turn walking into a family ritual. After dinner, instead of everyone scattering to their devices, invite your spouse, kids, or even a neighbor to stroll with you. This way, the walk isn't just a tool for fat loss. It becomes a way to connect and unwind. Children especially love the rhythm of walking, and before you know it, the whole household looks forward to it. When it's a shared habit, it's easier to stay consistent because it feels like a joy rather than a chore. For those who spend long hours sitting at a desk, use walking as a reset. Every hour or two, get up for a mini walk around your office, down the hall, or even in place if space is tight. These small breaks lower the damage from prolonged sitting, keep your muscles active, and prevent that mid-day brain fog. If you're on phone calls, take them walking. Suddenly, a task that keeps you sedentary becomes an opportunity to nourish your body. Remember that the pace doesn't need to be punishing. Walking at a brisk but conversational speed is enough. This means you can use your walk for relaxation, for listening to a podcast, or for brainstorming ideas without feeling drained. Some people even find their best creative insights come while walking because the body is moving in rhythm and the brain feels clearer. One trick to stay consistent is to anchor your walks to existing habits. If you always make tea after dinner, take it outside with you as you walk. If you watch the news in the evening, try listening through earbuds while pacing around your block. These pairings help you stay committed because you're not waiting for the perfect moment. You're attaching walking to routines you already do naturally. And here's the important piece. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. If you miss a walk one day, that doesn't undo your progress. What changes your metabolism is the repeated signal over time, not whether you checked a box every single day. Start with one walk a day after a meal and let the habit grow. Before long, you'll find yourself looking forward to it because it leaves your body lighter, calmer, and more energized. It becomes less of a chore and more of a gift you give yourself each day. So instead of trying to fit into extreme exercise schedules that leave you sore and drained, bring walking into the flow of your life in ways that feel enjoyable. Take your phone calls on foot, stroll with your loved ones after dinner, or trade a scroll break for a step break after lunch. These are the tiny adjustments that compound into big changes for your hormones, your metabolism, and your overall energy. Once walking becomes part of your lifestyle, fat loss stops feeling like a battle and starts becoming a natural side effect of how you live. Imagine yourself 1 month from now, waking up with more energy than you've felt in years. Your mornings feel lighter, your body feels calmer, and instead of dragging yourself out of bed, you're starting the day with a steady flow of energy that carries you through without the usual crashes. Your clothes fit differently, your face looks brighter, and you notice that the cravings that used to pull you towards sugar or late night snacks are quieter now. It's not because you punished yourself with long hours in the gym or starved yourself with a rigid diet. It's because you made a simple, consistent choice to walk smarter. See yourself after dinner, choosing movement instead of the couch. Maybe it's a gentle stroll outside with family or a brisk solo walk that clears your mind. Either way, you feel the difference in your digestion, in your sleep that night, in how refreshed you wake up the next day. Each step you've taken over the last month has been teaching your body to regulate insulin, calm stress, and release stored fat without the fight. You're no longer chasing quick fixes. You're building a rhythm that feels sustainable and freeing. Notice how your evenings look different. Instead of scrolling endlessly, you're outside under the sky, breathing in fresh air, letting the stress of the day melt away with every step. Your mind feels lighter, your body feels more alive, and you realize that this small ritual has become the highlight of your day. You didn't have to push harder or demand perfection. You just had to show up with consistency. That choice is now reshaping not only your body, but your whole relationship with health. Feel what it's like to have your hormones working with you instead of against you. Insulin is calmer. Cortisol no longer drives your body to cling to fat, and your hunger signals feel balanced and trustworthy. Instead of battling your body, you're in partnership with it. Food feels satisfying without overindulgence. Movement feels energizing rather than exhausting, and rest comes easily because your nervous system is more at ease. This isn't a temporary change. It's the beginning of a lifestyle shift that feels natural enough to last. Now picture yourself walking into the next month carrying this new momentum. Your confidence grows because you've proven to yourself that change doesn't have to be extreme or complicated. You've discovered a tool you can use anywhere, anytime, without special equipment or memberships. This method travels with you to work, to vacations, to family gatherings. It's adaptable, it's forgiving, and it keeps rewarding you with more energy, better mood, and steady fat loss as long as you keep showing up. See yourself lighter, not just in body, but in spirit, knowing you've broken free from the cycle of diets, guilt, and punishing workouts. Instead, you've stepped into a way of living that honors your biology and fits your life. Every step is both an act of self-care and a message to your metabolism that you are safe, you are balanced, and you are ready to thrive. This is the transformation you create when you stop trying to walk longer or harder and start walking smarter.